Hi, Andrew here. Last week we tested the 147 grain gold dot out of a Smith & Wesson Shield, and this week we're going to test the 147 grain HST. Both the gold dot and the HST are highly regarded as being outstanding bullets in almost any caliber at almost any bullet weight. However, 147 grain is kind of heavy for caliber for 9mm, making it difficult to expand, especially through heavy clothing. We saw last week that the gold dot had a little bit of trouble with that. So, will the HST have difficulty expanding through heavy clothing? Will it perform well in barrigel? Will it underpenetrate in barrigel, as sometimes happens? Let's head out to the range and take a look. Okay, so we got the HST being the HST in barrigel. The top one went 18.1 inches. Bottom one, second shot, went 15.6 inches. You can see that this one just barely got into the second block here. And if I can dig this out without cutting myself up and take a look, looks pretty typical for an HST, but you'll notice it's maybe not quite fully expanded, although that's not bad at all. But you can see how there is a little bit of room here, and normally these little pointy bits are a little bit further out on the pedal. It's large enough, but it's not as fully expanded as we often see for HST. I think that this might still open up in the heavy clothing. Let's take a look and see what happens. Okay, so a little inconsistency in the penetration in the barrigel. Both results did fall within the recommended 12 to 18 inches, but there's a big difference in penetration there, which we don't normally like to see. However, of course, retained weight and expansion and all that were also good. So it's a little give and take there. Overall, it's certainly a pass, but the variation in penetration depth isn't ideal. Let's see how it does against heavy clothing. Okay, so something a little unexpected happened here. It's not super shocking that this bullet failed to expand. What is interesting, though, is that despite not expanding, or not expanding much anyway, it still only penetrated to 14.8 inches, which, one, is within that 12 to 18 inch range that we want to see, and two, it's not that deep for a bullet that doesn't expand. Remember, a bullet that doesn't expand is basically acting like a full metal jacket, and we'd expect to see quite a bit deeper penetration. Now, it may be difficult to see on the video because from your angle it probably looks like this track intersects with this track. They're actually at one is a little bit further away from you than the other, but this track curves down and leaves the bottom of the block here. I'm going to look around and see if I can find that bullet. But this bullet is obviously a failure. Of course, you could, if you wanted to, refer to that as expansion, but it's clearly not ideal. You see how only two petals really started to open up and not anywhere near full expansion. Okay, so not great. Although we did see a little bit of expansion, that lower velocity that we see with the heavy for caliber bullet resulted in mediocre expansion at best. Honestly, I think most people would call that a failure to expand, although we do see some petals peeled out a little bit. It's not really truly expansion strictly according to Hoyle. So this invites the obvious comparison to the 147 grain gold dot that we tested last week. So here's an image of the 147 grain gold dot next to the 147 grain HST, both fired out of the Smith & Wesson Shield. Really? It's pretty close to a tie. The gold dot did expand slightly more, although the HST stayed within the penetration requirements even though it didn't fully expand, which on its own is kind of impressive. Both of them did okay. Now don't take these results to think that gold dot or HST aren't great bullets. They are fantastic bullets. It's just that 147 grain is heavy for caliber, the velocity is lower, and that's not a good fit for a short barrel that is already struggling to get enough velocity to cause expansion. While the 147 grain HST or gold dot might be good choices for a service pistol, they're not good choices for a short barreled micro pistol that like you might be carrying in deep concealment. If you disagree with me, and I'm sure some of you do, leave a comment below. If you just want to talk about how awesome Fallout 4 was and how there really needs to be more DLC, I'd love to chat about that too. As always, please support our sponsors because supporting them supports us. Without Ventura, we wouldn't be able to do these videos. They provide the ammunition that I use in almost all of these gel tests. So if you have the time, head on over to their website, take a look at what they have in stock, and come back over here and tell us what you'd like to see us test next. As always, have a great day.